Michael Jackson, Oppenheimer, and the Big 12 last weekend. All things that are bad. This is Locked On Big 12.
You are Locked On Big 12, your daily podcast on the Big 12 Conference, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yeah, that's right. I thought Oppenheimer was overrated and overhyped. And I'm Drake Toll from ESPN Central Texas, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team, and it is every day. Thank you for making Locked On Big 12 your first listen every single day. The Big 12 needs to do these three big things this weekend to get back in the saddle. Between Texas Tech and Baylor and TCU and West Virginia, there were some embarrassing things that happened this weekend. Not only did those four teams not cover, all four of those teams lost, three of which in games that they were supposed to win, and it just made the conference not look great. Now, I want to remind you, we'll get into this later in the show, the Utah plays in the Big 12 now, so them winning was good for us. Colorado plays in the Big 12 now, so Deion Sanders being the biggest show in town and him winning is also good for us. But this weekend, us together, right now, they're not us yet. They're not us yet. So right now, me and you and all the people that are left in the Big 12, from West Virginia down to Texas Tech to UCF to Cincinnati to Houston even, bear with me, because this week, the Big 12 needs three things to go correctly. Number one, I want to use an acronym. How will the Big 12 correct things? That's it. It's how. The acronym's how. H, humiliate. The Big 12 has to come out this weekend and prove that this conference, losing last week in the way that it lost, was a fluke. And the way that you do that is win games you're supposed to win by more points than just the spread or less than the spread. So instead of losing as a 14-point favorite, win the game by 28. Humiliate the opponent. Kansas needs to humiliate Illinois to prove that the Big 12 is better than the current Pac-12, because that narrative's been spread all the way through college football. We need to prove that Oklahoma State is much better than Arizona State. Don't just win by 3. Win by 30, Oklahoma State. For a team like Houston, 10-point favorite against Rice, you should never lose to Rice, Houston. You've got to go prove that as a Big 12 team, you're going to humiliate your opponents. Texas Tech, you've got an opportunity to humiliate your opponent even by just winning this game. Cincinnati, the same for you as 7-point dogs. There's so many intriguing matchups in the Big 12 this weekend. Iowa State spread has shrunk because people are starting to believe that Iowa State can win. Kansas State against Troy. The Troy Trojans, I think, 16.5-point favorites. Win the game by 35. No more questions. The Big 12 is a good conference. Humiliate the opponents. O was kind of hard in how. I built the H and the W first. I needed an O. I really struggled. O this week is obligato or obligato. I'm going to go with obligato because obligato sounds like obligat. I don't know. Obligato, which if you don't know, it's a word. It's a 9-letter word. It means indispensable. Indispensable. We have to show this week as a conference that we are indispensable. The college football cannot live without us. The highest watched game in the country on Saturday. 7.3 million people viewed TCU and Colorado. That's why I carry the two Big 12 teams. We have to prove as a conference that we are worth watching. Baylor and Utah. The Bears got to put on a show. The Bears got to show up in a game with an over-under of 47. Baylor's got to show up and prove that our offense doesn't suck. Sawyer Robertson's good at football. You come out and prove that Texas Tech is must-watch television against Oregon. That Alabama can't hang with Texas. Make these games entertaining. Win them by 14, 21. If Tech's up by 14 or 21 in the fourth quarter, people are turning that on because they want to see this team that just lost to Wyoming beat Oregon. Mighty, mighty number 13 Oregon. Obligato. Prove that the Big 12 must be watched. This is not just watchable football. It is appointment viewing football. The Big 12 is going to make money. It's going to survive in the future of college athletics. The Big 12 has to have staying power via the visibility that it can display to others. The W, plain and simple, baby, it's a win. If the Big 12 wants to have a bounce back weekend, the number one thing this league can do is win. Where I want to go with you right now is I want you to visualize some of these things. Just don't think, react. Baylor beats Utah. You're going, what? How? I know, it's crazy. But think about what it would do for the Big 12. You go, this terrible team that just lost to Texas State beat the Pac-12 champions. Kansas beats Illinois. Brett Bielema. Kansas is still back. They're good at football, maybe. Iowa State upsets Iowa. The Big 12 is better than the Big 10. If you go out and the Big 12 wins, Cincinnati over Pittsburgh, you take a Pittsburgh team that's been pretty good at the ACC and you say Cincinnati beat you. That's huge. Texas beating Alabama. I know they're leaving, but certainly couldn't hurt. Certainly couldn't hurt for Texas to go out there in Tuscaloosa and beat Alabama. I think it's going to happen too. Texas Tech beating Oregon. A win. What would a win against Oregon do for this conference? Huge, man. Huge. That Nike money, you didn't want to come to our league. Well, Texas Tech just slaps you in the face. I love the UCF Boise matchup. That's great too. Give me UCF all day. And then Oklahoma State and Arizona State, another game to prove a point for this conference. The Big 12 was laughed at, made a mockery of last weekend. If you can walk in and pull off upsets, win games that are have a spread within a score, then you can prove. If you can win, you can prove that last week in the Big 12 was a fluke. That these teams, Baylor and TCU and Texas Tech, who were picked on the top half of the Big 12 and lost to some pretty not good opponents. I think TCU can make a case for Colorado, but still you're a 21-point favorite. You can go out and say, hey, that was a fluke. We're sorry, college football world. It won't happen again. The Big 12 was still a top dog. The Big 12 was still a top 3 conference. The Big 12 still, with bringing in these new 4 schools, can be better than the ACC. And you make a statement. The final year of the Pac-12, and it was the only conference that went undefeated in the first weekend of the season. That was pretty awesome. Good for them, right? I guess they needed one last little oh, goodbye, you don't exist anymore. Good for them, I guess. For the Big 12, I don't care what Pac-12 fans say. I don't care what these ACC fans are screaming because they got Cal and Stanford and SMU for free. I don't care about any of that. I care about the Big 12 going out and showing how this conference is back. It was a fluke. It never left. The 3 things the Big 12 must do to stay at the top of college football this week, to be a current dog still in college football. Number 1, humiliate. Number 2, obligato, or be indispensable. And number 3, win. How does the Big 12 win this weekend? Exactly. Remember it. Obligato. Also remember that Colorado's in this conference. Part of Locked On Big 12. It's the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team, and it's every day. What time is it? 6:51 Central Time. Otherwise known as Game Time. Game Time is my favorite place to go and get up to date last minute tickets. I know what you're thinking, up to date, last minute tickets, up to date. Because right now, when you go there and look for these rows or whatever, it shows you where you're sitting, and you don't have to think what tickets are left, what tickets are not left. You can see by the minute what's available. And it's not I get stressed out sometimes when I'm trying to buy tickets. I have to pay all these fees, but I don't anymore because I go to Game Time, and Game Time makes it easy. It's not even stressful. It's fast, it's easy, and you do it last minute. They're last minute tickets with the best price, and it's guaranteed. There's even this little deal they make with you, and if it's not the lowest price, there's a 110%. You get 110% credit of the difference if it's not the lowest price. You will always get the best price. Deals on tickets right up to the day of the event. Flash deals on tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. Get images of your seats. Tickets are sent directly to your phone. You never have to dig through your email. Snag the tickets without the stress with GameTime. Download the GameTime app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Download GameTime today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices, guaranteed. Did you know the Big 12 is a conference that features the Colorado Buffaloes? Did you know that? Because there's this weird narrative going around this weekend of Colorado fans who are like, we beat TCU. Take that, Big 12. We beat TCU. We beat a Big 12 team and went to the college football playoff, the national championship. I think what we have to realize about this, you're in our conference. All these Colorado fans are like, the Big 12 hates us. The Big 12 thinks that TCU lost. They don't think Colorado won. They think that TCU lost. Brother, you're in our conference. We are you. We exist together. I need Colorado fans to know, and fans of the rest of the Big 12 teams, we are actively rooting for Colorado. The last I checked, Colorado doesn't have a single current Big 12 school left on its schedule. I hope Colorado goes 12-0. The better Colorado does, the better spectacle that Deion Sanders is, the better for the Big 12. Because we all thought Colorado was going to be bad. Everybody did. This wasn't like a hot take. Like, oh, wow, X-analyst thinks Colorado is going to suck. No, everybody did. Everybody thought Colorado was going to be terrible. 73 new players will never work. Deion proved it could. So now we're sitting in a position where you think, why are Colorado fans being the way they are a little bit? I've seen some comments this week. It's like, nobody's giving Colorado credit. Like, everybody's hating on Colorado. Colorado is a Big 12 team. And when that announcement was made, I don't know if this is because, Cal and Stanford are going to the ACC. Does Colorado want to be in the ACC? Are they jealous of that? I don't know what it is that has made Colorado fans so reluctant to embrace the Big 12 with this win. Are they mad at TCU fans for yelling the F word at Deion Sanders? Welcome to college football student sections. All these people that are like, this is abhorrent. TCU is the worst students and the worst fans of all time. Like, dude, go to the SEC for a game. Go to Wisconsin. Go to a game at Wisconsin. Every fan's pissed drunk, screaming at you. They're at church the next morning. Welcome to college football. I don't think Colorado fans are mad at I would hope you're not mad at TCU. I'd hope you're not mad at the Big 12 overall. You're in this league. The dominant brand has been Utah. The dominant brand has been Utah of the four schools that are coming to the Big 12. But Colorado certainly changed that narrative with Deion Sanders beating TCU this weekend. It's not Utah anymore. I'm not looking at Utah and going, everybody's scared of Utah. I, the host of Locked On Big 12, am squarely looking at Colorado and saying, shoot, that's a really good football team. Deion Sanders is a really good football coach, and they're going to keep dominating high school recruiting. They're going to dominate the transfer portal, and they might just dominate this team on the grid, this league on the gridiron, if this team continues the trajectory it's on. But guess what? That's good for us. If you're the Big 12, you want that. If you're a Texas Tech fan, if you're a Baylor fan, and you see what Colorado is doing, your immediate thoughts should be, I think I like that. This is great for our league because people are paying big time money. And what TCU and Colorado proved is that it can be appointment television. The Big 12 could be appointment television because Colorado's in this league. TCU's in this league. That's a Big 12 game. This is a game between two teams that are going to square up. If you watch the game, they mention it. This is a Big 12 game. When Colorado wins, the Big 12 wins. I saw it on FanDuel. Colorado over under 4.5 wins this season is still available. It's still available. Now, over is minus 200. So you don't get total bang for your buck, right? Bet $100, get 50 back. They get Nebraska this week. They're going to beat the brakes off Nebraska at home. That's like $450 for the cheapest ticket to sit in the nosebleeds. Colorado State. They've got the firepower to beat Oregon, to beat USC at home. Certainly to beat Arizona State and Stanford and UCLA. Like, this team winning 5 games, are you serious? They just beat TCU on the road in Deion's first game. You think they're going to get worse? They get Oregon State at home. Arizona at home, Washington State. Dude, I get it. There's some ranked Pac-12 teams, but there are some embarrassingly sad games that Colorado will play. Arizona at home is one of them. Even though Arizona is a Big 12 team, that's an Arizona team that's really, really struggled. Arizona State the same way. They fired Herm Edwards. Washington State on there, like it's Stanford. I get it. You still got Utah in this mix. You still got to go toe-to-toe with USC and Oregon, and those teams are good. There's some teams on here. Oregon State, I guess, we've decided is good now at football. There's some teams on here that are scary for Colorado, but to me, as a Big 12 guy, I hope in those 12 games, Colorado goes 12-0. They've already played the one team that I was like, oh man, I hope TCU wins to show that like Deion's not going to die. I mean, as somebody who wants certain Big 12 teams that were already here to flourish, it's like, oh wow, my first love is the original Big 12, obviously, right? But now that Colorado beat TCU, it's like, all right, well, you're a Big 12 team. I hope you win the rest of your games and prove that this team that's going to the Big 12 can continue to build the Big 12's brand. We keep saying that there's not a team in the Big 12 who's got a national championship caliber program. And there's not. But if Colorado comes in winning the way they've already won, even just week one, if that trajectory holds, if this isn't a fluke, Colorado makes the Big 12 a really dangerous conference. Get on board now. Toot, toot. I'm riding the Deion Sanders train, and you should be too. When Colorado wins, remember this, tattoo it on your eyelids. When Colorado wins, the Big 12 wins. And so does Locked On Big 12, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. People ask me all the time, they say, Drake, how do you get your hair to look so luscious and beautiful? And I have to tell them, I have a secret, and it's Nutrafol. I like this right here, this hair right here that you see. I have almost gotten to the point where I have had to go to the barber more because Nutrafol is making my hair so luscious. It is growing at a rapid pace that I cannot keep up with. If you have weakened or thinning hair, then Nutrafol is where you need to be. Men think losing hair is inevitable, but take control of your hair's future with Nutrafol's science-based hair growth supplement for men. I don't know why I'm taking it. More than I just wanted to try it out and see what happens. Like, does it work? Does it work? I did. I started taking it. Has my hair been thin? No. But I thought, I'm going to see if it's just, I always feel like these things are placebo, not Nutrafol. It is scaring my barber. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement, clinically shown to improve your hair growth, visible thickness, and visible scalp coverage. You can't see my scalp. Their hair growth supplements use physician-formulated, natural, science-based ingredients. They are drug-free, patented technology, provides consistent, reliable results. Go to Nutrafol.com/men to take the health wellness quiz, hair health wellness quiz right now. Take the first step to visibly thicker, healthier hair for a limited time. Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com/men. Enter the promo code LOCKEDONCollege. That's Nutrafol.com/men. Enter promo code LOCKEDONCollege. Find out why more than 4,000 healthcare providers recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. Locked On College is your promo code at Nutrafol.com/men. Nutrafol.com/men. Promo code Locked On College. What a weekend we have coming up in the Big 12. Let's preview it. I am wholly invested in the Big 12 going undefeated this weekend, though I don't know if it's going to happen. I do believe as we look around the conference that Kansas continues to prove that it is a good football team. I like what Lance Leipold's team has put out there. Jason Bean is a good quarterback. Let's go. Let's all look around each other and say, hey, Jason Bean's a good quarterback. He has the opportunity. We've all Jalen Daniels has been all the hype. That's been all the hype. Jalen Daniels in the preseason. But now Jason Bean going out and getting it done. Last week, in granted a game that Kansas should certainly win against Missouri State, but him getting it done to me proved that this is a two-headed monster at quarterback. Devin Neal's a great running back. Kansas gets it done. That's tonight, by the way, Friday. The rest of this slate, look, some teams have to lose. The Big 12 can't go 14-0. Baylor probably going to lose to Utah. I predicted on a couple shows that Sawyer Robertson was going to go out and help the Bears to a victory. After the way that Baylor played last week, I was in the house to see it. It wasn't good. It was worse than bad. Utah's going to win that game. My money at FanDuel is on Utah. I have predicted on various sites that Baylor will somehow win because of Sawyer Robertson, the backup quarterback from Mississippi State, Mike Leach kid. However, Utah's actually going to win that game. Kansas State and Troy. Kansas State, Will Howard, please just do the thing that you do and beat Troy. It's just like Avery Johnson, great. Woo! Just go use Will Howard and beat Troy, please. BYU Southern Utah shouldn't be a conversation. This is where BYU needs to prove the offense is not bad. Speaking of bad offenses, Iowa at Iowa State, which is now down to a 3.5 line on Fox. This is the most NFL game of the week. Final score 17-14, 14-13, 10-13, somewhere in that range. I don't know who's going to win. It's a coin flip when you match these two defenses. I think Iowa gets it done, though. 20-13 final score. Iowa on top of Iowa State. Again, not everybody can win. That's a really good battle if you're Iowa State. Oklahoma SMU. Over under 68.5 is insane. I have the over. That's all I want. They're leaving the conference. West Virginia, here's at least one win this season. Duquesne coming to town. Please. Please, West Virginia. Garrett Green's not very good at football, but he can certainly beat Duquesne. You have to win this week. Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. Emory Jones, 5 touchdowns last week for Cincinnati. I like this kid. I had another Big 12 expert text me a week or so ago and say, Emory Jones is the worst quarterback in the Big 12. And after seeing him play last week, I don't think I agree with that. Now, look, I get it. When you are a Cincinnati Bearcat, you certainly should be coming into this season with the expectation of beating Eastern Kentucky. But 66-13 is impressive. Emory Jones was impressive. Senior, 6'3", 212 pounds. 4th best QBR in the country last week. Emory Jones, take care of business. Texas, Alabama. I think Texas gets it done. Call me crazy. I don't think Quinn Ewers is that good. I think Xavier Worthy is that good. I think Xavier Worthy will be the best player on the field on Saturday, and Alabama will lose to Texas because Texas has everybody back. Late in the game, Alabama does not have everybody back. They're punched in the mouth. It's close in the 4th quarter, and Texas is able to hold on. Oregon, Texas Tech. You just lost to Wyoming, so I'm going to look like an idiot doing it, Texas Tech. I'm going to look like an idiot doing it. But I think Tyler Shuck might still be the guy. It wasn't exactly his fault. If you go back and watch the game, he wasn't great. I didn't love him. I think Baron Morton is really good. He could be the QB of the future. But give Tyler Shuck a shot. At home, this game is at 6 p.m., a night game at Jones AT&T. The loudest stadium, I think the loudest stadium in the Big 12 this season. It should be the most raucous party. I've got Texas Tech winning this game. Why? I don't know. I just don't have that much confidence in Bo Nix. Get it done, Red Raiders. Get it done. UCF, Boise State. Give me UCF. Houston, Rice. Houston, if you don't cover 9.5. If you don't cover 9.5 against Rice, we're going to have some serious problems. Donovan Smith, rise up, and please go win a football game. The Big 12 turns its lonely eyes to you. Don't embarrass us. And then Oklahoma State, Arizona State. 9:30. Jaden Rashada for Arizona State, who I think is a good football player, against Oklahoma State, who has a revolving door of quarterbacks right now. I think Garrett Rangel is Alan Bowman's not your guy, Oklahoma State. I've said that for a couple weeks now. Alan Bowman's not your starting quarterback. Garrett Rangel? Sure. Do it. I mean, freshman, right? Young kid, absolutely. The Gundy kid, it's not bad at football. I legitimately think if Gunnar Gundy's last name wasn't Gundy, he'd probably play a little bit more. You probably agree with that too, don't you? Oklahoma State, you're spades better than Arizona State. Please just do the thing where you win. Don't pull a TCU here, please. Keep the current Big 12 on the map and show that when Arizona State comes to the league, this is what's going to happen to them. They're going to lose, and they're going to lose by a lot. This is not Oklahoma State's best team. It's not an up year for them, but it's still a 9-3 season based on this schedule. Although if you lose, it looks a lot more like 4-8, 5-7. Legitimately. There's your preview. My stars of the week. Xavier Worthy will be a star of the week for the Big 12 this week. Somehow Sawyer Robertson will get it done for Baylor. They might lose, but he's going to make it competitive. And somebody hits a game-winning field goal. Yep, somebody in this league does. You pick. On Locked On Big 12. Thanks for making it your first listen every single day. I'm going to see you guys on Sunday probably. I'll do an emergency podcast tomorrow to react to everything. I'll be at the Baylor game. Yay. This has been, and always will be, Locked On. Thanks again for making it your first listen every single day. Dose grande. Please subscribe.